All right, good peoples. Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation back at you with Polty. After that, interesting. Both Monday and Tuesday were a heck of days. So let's get into Polty and see what they did. They ran right by their calls. So again, great on the synthetic, right? I'm going to sum it all up for you. So we are now up to a $39 million profit on our 115s because let's take a look at what happened. We closed up what to 128.10. And I was just saying in the last video that we had a whole bunch of calls in here that we had sold starting at 121. And so we were down at 118, and I said we want to settle down. We don't want to go over 121 because our call spreads, that again, the definition of these spreads and how they work. Now these change. We had to go and close out all of these. So we took an $11 million loss on all these sold calls that we had to buy back, right? You see dark is what we sold at 427,400 on 700 121. Well, when we were blowing by that, they had to jump out there and pay $8 and buy them back. So similar on the 124s, the 123s, and the 125. When it starts to run like that, the market manager did the right thing. So you take these off, and then you sell the ones you had already bought, and then you go to higher. So that's what happens when you run like that. But we only made 3271 on those, and we lost 11. So we had a net, 8 million. So I ran us up to speed here. I'll cover that on the bottom in just a second. So let me go. You don't care about cash and where it is. Although the share count went up 350,000 shares, guys. So that was up 7.41. PLTR was up 8.14 and Pulte was up 4.65. So we're at 70.65. They ended up 128.10. So I'll try and get something on pre-market. I had it before. Let me get pre-market PLTR. Well, that's saying 964, but I don't know. Oh, yeah, that's yesterday. Okay. It's not really giving me a price. I need to go get, I know what I need to start. I need to start a different program, guys. Um, I'm used to looking at my Thinkorswim, so it's always showing me. Let's see, I think I'm getting it here. Okay, it's down 35 cents, 127.75. So that's fine. If it was going to run, I mean, they've repositioned the insurance. So here are the calls again. This is what's relevant. So this gives us an additional 39 million, right? So you don't want this to fall a lot. You just want it to stay. We had come up on these, so they kept the 126 because we were barely over at 128. And then they sold a 132, a 134, and a 135, right? 2.95, 4.4, and 5.11% out of the money. So reasonable, because when you fly up like this, it's very likely you come back a little. And then we see what it does the final 2 days. So for insurance, they went pretty close here, right? They had a 136 they left on. They bought 137, 138, 139, 140, and 141. So if this thing goes to 145, right, what they lose here, they're going to make up for down here. So these should be pretty good. Otherwise, this isn't going to probably be a lot of money. We really ideally would like to just win all these. It's almost 5 million. And then what we spend over here isn't that big a deal. Let's take a look at just that 29 to 34. Yeah, so we got another 3.5 million if this comes to pass here. Um, So, well, actually, this is today's value, but it's pretty close. Regardless, this number isn't varied a lot. All right, so let's sum up because we're only 7 days away, guys. We're in Group B for Polty, declares on 5/21, 7 days from today, right? Here's a summary. When we sold our synthetic just the other day on the 100 synthetic and we rolled, so we got 553 a share. Now remember that's dropping a little because the share count went from 4,750,000 to 5,075,000, which is the 7.41 on 350,000 shares. So people are buying this thing, right? We're telling the story out there, YouTubers, and they can see it flying. A lot of times they don't know the inner workings of how the fund managers presented this stuff. And I try not to bore you with every little nook and cranny and debit and credit, but I've got to track the numbers, but do it as best I can. So here is what our current profit is. They may or may not close this out. And that could determine because we got 475 profit. So if we just idle along and stay in this 126, then we're not hurt up here at all. We lose this insurance money, but we don't lose any of these. All these calls sold basically expire for 2, 3, 4 cents, right? So you want to stay right around 126 in an ideal situation. Unless you're just going to blow it out and go to 155 or something, then these are going to break even and then your synthetic's going to make more money, right? The bailout synthetic. But I don't expect that. It's a little bit crazy. So I got us if we count this money and we have this, and this is to be determined. We don't know how this week is. It's not going to be it's going to be less than this amount likely. Clearly not these kind of amount. So we got $8.62 between what they've collected and what they show the gain on the synthetic, and that's accounting for the loss on the spreads they had to close out early. So we're looking pretty good, guys. I'm still saying worst case, very likely it's in the fives. All right. 550, 580. Very possible we get into sixes, and that's what I'm looking for. That's why I've been trying to bring your attention to. We'll know a lot more by the end of this week, good peoples. All right, that's what I've got for you for Pulte. Let me see if there's something else. 127.84, then 127.90. As pre-market is ticking up. Good peoples. I got to get back and report the actuals on Group A. And then later this week, I got to do some more mining stuff, update that kind of stuff. So this is bouncing around. It's still staying in the high 127, so it doesn't appear to be too much change on the runway there. All right, peoples. This is Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Have a great one. Look forward to the next one. All right, bye for now.